Lasciamo la scena a, devo dire, un'architetta visionaria. È veramente una figura straordinariamente importante che ha cambiato anche il modo di fare architettura. Siamo molto onorati di averla qui. Lei farà lo speech in inglese, potete vedere la traduzione in simultanea sullo schermo. Signori, Odile Decq.
Grazie. Okay, thank you. Good evening. No, good afternoon. We are still in afternoon. First of all, I've been in Thursday, and I discovered Thursday last time I went for the lecture, and it was absolutely incredible. I did not know that it was so much a big world, the ceramic. It was very impressive. Thank you. And okay, so I speak in English, I'm sorry. I can't speak in Italian. I understand sometimes a bit, but I don't speak, sorry. Or I can do it in French. No? You prefer in English, okay. Okay, I discovered sitting here that the light is absolutely horrible. So I stay there because I think that you will see me more, no? Okay, yes. Because with the light, it's impossible. Okay, so thank you for inviting me in Genoa, even if it's to travel through Europe to come. It's complicated to come here. I don't know why, because it's so close to France. It's the city closest to France, but I have to travel Europe to come. Okay, it's bizarre. It's really bizarre. But, okay. So I titled my lecture, A Global Universe. Why? Because, okay, I am an architect, but as I always say, architecture is bringing you to everywhere. With architecture, you can do whatever you want. This is what I said to my students all the time. You can become whoever you want, artist, architect, designer, setting for theater, for cinema, whatever. You can do everything. So in my case, I'm doing architecture, I'm doing also urban planning sometimes, I'm doing design, I'm doing art pieces, I'm doing installation, and I do whatever. Whatever is interesting me, whatever, when the people are nice and kind, I always say yes. Whatever the size, even if it's at the opposite in the world, in the opposite of the world, I go there because I take fun, and I want to take fun by doing whatever I want. And I don't do just for business, because I don't do business at all. It's just for pleasure, and to provide pleasure for people. And okay, so do you see something? You can't avoid the back scene, the back of the images, no? Increasing the size of the image and not having this. Is it possible to change? Because it's like if you have a frame, which is size of the. Okay. I'm sorry for the frame, for you. Okay, so I start by installations, because in 2004, a long time ago, now I was thinking 22 years ago, an art gallery in New York asked me to come and to do something in the art gallery. Not to do architecture, not to present architecture, but to do something else. So it was an installation. So I built a space, a little cabinet. But it's really, for me, it's very bizarre because I don't see the image. Okay. Do you prefer to see the laptop? No, I don't like this frame. The frame is perturbating the image. Yes. It's not clear. Are you perturbed? You like this frame around the image? Ah, nice. Increase the size. Avoid the back side, because it's really bizarre. The computer is translating me immediately? My God, it's the first time I see that. So, thank you for doing it. Thank you. It's much better now. I'm not, because I couldn't see my image. Okay, so this is an installation where I proposed to build a little cabinet little space inside the room in the gallery. And this is a place where you... I did that too fast. Okay. Where we enter by a ramp. The floor is oblique. The walls are not vertical, not regular. Some are painted in white, some are with mirror. So when projecting images on the white walls, they are reflecting in the mirror on the other side, and projecting images of architecture with no explaining anything. So this is just creating new spaces in between. So it was a kind of it was 2004, a virtual space where we were not building that by your computer, just in physics, and it was a virtual space in real. In France, we have a garden festival every year in Chaumont-sur-Loire, and in 2019, they gave us the thematic colors. And I was thinking that all the landscaper and the designer will use a lot of flowers. And I decided to do a black garden. So the black garden is without flowers. It's just with sheets of glass around the space, with a floor which is covered by power of tire powder that absorb the sound, and in the center a little pond of water. So because I was thinking that all around the gardens where will be very noisy with the flowers, with multicolor flowers, I have to peace and to calm down, to create a space which is calm and silencious. So this space was very silencious because as soon as you enter into the space, the sound, your voice, was absorbed by the floor. So you couldn't speak to people on both sides. So you have to stay silencious inside. And the sun was playing with the glasses. In SCIARC in the School of Architecture, they have a space for exhibition, and many times they invite architects to do installation. And usually they brought an object, and I built another space. And the space is done with 4 regular triangles in plan. But again, the walls are not vertical, and they are all covered by mirror. So seen from above, you see that. When you go in, you see this object which is inclined, and as soon as you enter in it, you don't understand the space. They are regular, triangle, but you don't see them because of the multi-reflection on the 3 directions, and they are reflecting each other, and the passage in between them are not at the same place. So you never know when you are in, where is it a real passage or is it the reflection of a door? You don't see the limit between where are the limits between the walls and the floor. It's creating ambiguity, it's creating something that is pleasure, because people were really smiling when they were inside, because they were playing into the space, trying to find their way through the mirrors. Where is it? No. No? Okay. More recently, in Paris, an art gallery asked me to do a pavilion on the Place de la Concorde during the art fair. And I built a black pavilion in glass at La Concorde. And this is just 1 sheet of glass. So because it's black, without specific particularity in the glass, but black, the facade is reflecting the piazza around. You don't see inside, you don't see where you can go, but this is also a place that's reflecting the Place de la Concorde. But as soon as you are in, you see the Place de la Concorde and nobody can see where you are. So you are invisible from the outside, but you look everything around. And I like playing with mirror, ambiguity, looking, what you see is not what you think about it. This is playing with that. And I try to do more and more, sometimes in architecture too. Not easy, because sometimes people are complaining. Okay, but everywhere. Believe me, not only in Genoa, everywhere. But when the client is nice, when they like to play with me, we can play together. And some years later, He asked me to do, the gallery asked me to do a transparent pavilion for a green pavilion. So it's a place, so it's a normal glass pavilion, the same. And it's installed in front of the Louvre. And you can you see that the proportion, the way I did the roof is similar to the architecture of the Louvre. It's normal because the pavilion is a replica of a pavilion from the 18th century that I found once in a park, where in Normandy. So I measure it and I replicate it, the shape and the form of a pavilion of the 18th century. And this pavilion is, where is it? Okay. You can come in. There is benches and a table and plants. It's, you know, in the Louvre, in Les Tuileries, the garden of Les Tuileries, in the past, there were greenhouses. And they were protecting the fragile plants as the exotic plants, as are exotic in the greenhouse during the winter. But in the summer, the greenhouse was open, the plants were outside, and they organized dinner and lunch and whatever inside the greenhouse. So this is what I reproduce, in a way, having the plants inside and having also a table to take lunch, etc. So now this pavilion is traveling in France. For the moment, it's in Meudon, close to Paris, but it's going some different places. Last year, I have been invited in Montenegro, in Podgorica, for exhibiting my work in the National Museum of Art. And they gave me the space of the museum. And they asked me a permanent piece outside in the park. And I built that in concrete. It's two surfaces of concrete in cantilever, in a way, where you can sit, lie, rest, or just look at. So this is a permanent piece in the park of the Museum, the Beaux-Arts Museum in Montenegro. And I did this piece too, which is a suspension, a sculpture in 3 dimensions, invaded the space, but it's a kind of a square done by tubes that are not connected. So this space, this form is inside the space. You can go in around, and you understand what it is because there is a little sketch on one of the walls on the side to look at how it is done. But it's just tubes in the space. And this is a mobile, a suspension object with square and lines and circles, or an older one, which is, where is it? Where I have to point? Ah, okay. This one which is a kind of a perspective in space, done by a tube of plexiglass, squared, suspended to the ceiling, and not attached to each other, to create a kind of a space into the space. And you just have to light the tubes to understand what is the piece. Architecture, a little bit. Macro, in Rome. Maybe some of you know the Macro. The Macro is the the city museum, the art museum for the city, done by the city, built opened in 2010, quite long, and it has been done in the center of Rome. You have, can I point somewhere? No, they don't have a pointer. We don't have a pointer. Where is the pointer? Is there a pointer? Where do I have to point? To the screen? Ah, okay. Yeah? I try to go back, but it doesn't work. I try to go back. Is there? No, up. This is on and back. Back, it doesn't work. No functional. I can't go back. Okay, I have to go on. I have to run. Whatever. Okay. Okay. So, and in the street, Vianizza, this is this street is turning, has a curve, and I wanted to have the, no, I don't know how to explain that. So this is the entrance. The entrance of the museum is in between two parts of the museum with two facades that I have to keep. And I suspended a cube of glass, a glass cube, to the facade on both sides, on cantilever above the entrance. And you enter by passing under this glass box, which is a cafe. Because as everywhere in Italy, particularly in Rome, in the city, in every street, there is a cafe. So I wanted to have the cafe of the museum in the street, but this is over the street. But we pass under the cafe and we go into the museum and we can go back to the cafe if you want. Okay, it goes too fast. Suddenly it goes fast, okay. When you pass the cafe, you enter a little garden because they ask us to do, in the competition they ask for having a garden. So I did a little garden with ordinary trees that are going very fast because I wanted to have the leaves on the roof. And as soon as you enter into the museum, you discover this is a modern, contemporary space. Because we are in Rome. Rome, as you know, maybe, but in Genova maybe also, this is very protective, very protected. Everywhere you have the ruins of the Roman, and you don't have contemporary architecture. And I had to keep the facade, but I decided that I keep the facade okay, but on the other side, it will be another world. This is a world for contemporary art. And it's important because when we were digging to do the car park, and we were digging, we didn't discover anything except one query. So the historical monument architect came and spent a month to discuss if we have to keep the query into the car park or not. At the end, they said we have to keep the query because it shows the way they were doing with cutting the stone, etc. Okay, we have to reorganize the car park because of this query. 2 or 3 months later, we discovered a fountain. And the fountain was from the 18th century. So they came and they said, oh, no, you can demolish it. What? Demolish the fountain which was totally preserved and keeping only the query? Are you crazy, Italian? No, it's not possible. It's very strange for me. Okay, but okay. So this is life in Rome when you are an architect. And I know that in Italy, especially maybe in Rome, the weight of history on the shoulder of architect is so heavy that when you start to speak about a project, you start to speak about the Roman time and you jump into the 20th century or 21st century. This is why when we opened the museum in Rome, every journalist asked me, what did you think about history and the relation to history? I said, I don't care. History, you have history, I don't. Okay, but okay, this is my museum. The museum is how I care to the city, to the context, and for the citizen. It's about the relation to the area. And with the relation to the area was done by many things. First of all, this is I dig until the level of the entrance, because it was it was into the ground at this place, and I had to enter that way, and the former entrance was on the other way, but I didn't explain at the beginning, doesn't matter. So my purpose of doing this museum was to travel into a museum. I wanted the people to travel into the museum to discover what is contemporary art. Because it's not easy, contemporary art. You have to adapt, you have to discover, you have to understand. Maybe you don't understand, but you go and you travel. So I wanted to provide different travels through the museum for the people coming for visiting and discovering the art. So the first one is the level of the ground, with the same material on the pavement. Basalto in the city, on the pavement, basalto inside, everywhere. When there is the roof, which is at the level of the third level, it's also basalto. So I have two public spaces, one at the level of the pavement, one above the museum. Both are public, and in between there is a museum. And in between we have this space, which are passerelles where you go by staircase, by lift, to travel at mid-level. So you can travel at different levels into the museum to discover the art and to discover where you want to go and what do you want to visit. So this is the auditorium in the center. Okay, let's change the image by itself. No? Ah, no, it's not like that. Back, okay. So the auditorium is in the center of the public space inside. And the auditorium is an object which is a bit destabilized, perceived as destabilized because of the shape of itself, and is disconnected from the floor to have the floor going down. And you come into by taking a ramp on the left side. And this is matte red. As soon as you enter in it, this is bright red. Everything is red. And I designed the seats. Doesn't come. Thank you. We have to talk together now. Okay, so the benches, that could be collective or individual. And on the back side, you have a little tablet that is inserted into the back side. And as soon as it is inside, the light is off. And when you take it off, the light is on. So you can take notes in the dark when there is projection or when there is discussion. And I did that with Poltrona Frau, with you. No? He told me, oh, we did that together. Okay, yes, in Poltrona Frau. Yes. The main exhibition room, which is 1,000 square meters, with different levels, with different height, because in the competition at the brief, they said that it could be a space for exhibition, it could be a space for spectacles, for theater, it could be a space for dance, it could be a space for... They did not know what to do with that. Now this is really at the end, Contemporary Art Museum. But what I did is one of the passerelles coming from above the auditorium is passing through at mid-level, going there and going to the roof. And when you go to the roof is another space for exhibition. And I painted the neighbors' walls to have screens to project. And the light is providing above by the glass surfaces on the roof and the ceiling. And okay, on the terrace there is lamps, there is the cafe, and there is toilets. I'm an architect who speaks about toilets. I'm interested by doing toilets because toilets is the only space where you don't have regulation to follow. You just have to provide a space with a certain dimension to provide ventilation and light. That's it. So you can do what you want. You can experiment. So my toilets have been done in reference to a movie by Jacques Tati, Playtime. It translates very well. Playtime was a movie from the 60s where Jacques Tati expressed the ultra-modernity cities coming. And I wanted to express that ultra-modernity very smooth, no asperity, no rugosity, everything is bright and soft. So this is why we have all around stainless steel mirrored. In the center, there is this block of glass with a landscape in depression in the center above. And when you want to wash your hands, you go there. And you make manipulating your hands above. And as soon as you manipulate your hands above, you cross infrared ray. And when you have the infrared ray crossed, it becomes red. And the water is coming up, and the dryer is coming up also. So you become players into the toilet. Okay. This is another museum that I did in France, in Brittany. So this is a place particular in Rennes, in the capital of Brittany. where there were this art installation of an artist, which is just 72 stones of granite erected on a space. And she asked, because she knew that the museum will come, she asked to the architects not to do anything with her piece, not to light her piece, and to be silencious, to have an architecture silencious. So I decided to do a block, a black block, to build it with just a reference to the stones by the line in the middle of the facade between the two materials. The first one on the top is black mirror stainless steel, covering the long facade of the main exhibition room, and underneath is black glass that becomes step by step going down to transparent. And on the side, when you want to enter in, this is a black concrete block, because the main exhibition room is suspended in cantilever to this block, and you enter underneath. And as soon as you enter in it, you discover that this black block is really, this black monolith is not silencious. Inside there is light, because I cut the volume in by a long line, and the light is coming in the middle, in the center, going down from the top to the bottom to the storage 8 meters below. But you see that the lift is in the center, but you can't go there. If you want to go up and to go inside, you have to go back to the facade. To go to the facade, I leave you doing. Okay, take these steps along the facade. In between, no, you can continue. You can again, okay, continue. Okay, until the cafe, which is open to the park, and then you travel by having some steps, some ramps, some staircase into that space from the bottom part to the top part. And on both sides, you discover that there are exhibition rooms, educative rooms, administration, etc., a library, etc. The exhibition rooms are neutral, because I don't like when architects are in too strongly exhibiting their work into the exhibition space, because the exhibition space is for the artists and the curators. You can do everything that you want in the public space, but not in the exhibition room. They have to be neutral. And toilets, maybe? Again? Yes. It's written because, but I discovered 6 months ago that they demolished it because I don't know why. So it was written toilets. They didn't tell me why. I went there to visit again with some friends, and I discovered that my toilets have disappeared without telling me. Okay, but my toilets were, again, playing with reflection, with a sinuous partition between the different toilets, and to play with your reflection into the glass, into the mirror. Again, to have the pleasure of looking at you larger or thinner, never yourself, but they didn't. After 15 years, they decided to demolish my toilets. And in the night, the bottom part becomes transparent, the auditorium becomes present, until it is a lantern. Again? Okay. So in China, a site close to Nanjing, where they discover into the mountain, the little mountain which is here, the bones of the first Homo erectus, the older Homo erectus of this time. Now they have discovered other olders, but at this time, it was 10 years ago, it was the older one. And the name is the Man of Nanjing. So the site was enormous, and they proposed us, because of the competition, to establish the museum where we wanted. But when you go into the mountains, and you go to the grots, where they discover the bones, you know that you are walking under the feet of the Man of Nanjing, the Homo erectus. So it was quite moving to do that. And so I decided to go back to the mountain and to play first with a model, with drawings, with the curved line of the site, then to a model with papers, and then to the museum itself, which is a huge museum of 20,000 square meters, and to rebuild the landscape above the museum, to go close to the mountain, to detach the museum from the mountains, and to reestablish the landscape above the museum. And to have inside a vertical promenade also, with all the curved line re-established on the facade. And inside there is a patio with escalators going through at different places to give the possibility for people to travel around the patio and to discover what happens on both sides and to decide when they go up and turning around, where do they want to go. Until the end. This is in Lyon. I try to go faster, but because I discovered that the translation is not bad, so I have to go there. Okay, this is in Lyon, and this is for offices. But the computer is translating very well. I discovered that. I was not okay. So we are in the confluence in the center of Lyon, in between two rivers. And this confluence was at the beginning of an industrial space that the city decided to buy, and now they have developed it 1 million of square meters above. And I did the competition for the river bank of the Saône, and they decided to establish different big pavilions for offices along the river. So I won the last one, the black box, that is at the end of the peninsula. And but they kept on the confluence the machines for translating transferring the goods from the boat to the harbor. And I decided to work with that machines because the history of the place. And you see the machine on the top, and I decided to build the same way. But not only having my site that way, because I was supposed to build that way, but I decided to take the top part, the 4 floors above, to make them pivoting, to have everything going to the river, to create a big cantilever for the 4 floors of 25 meters long, going to the river, that the facade of the offices are on the river, when the entrance is back. And so for building that, we had to build big pylons that came by the river, big beams that we supported by the pylons, and suspending the floors by the little pieces of metal that you see there, because they are hanging, like that. And the facade discovered by a photo by an artist, Felice Varini, who works with perspective and point of view. And we have been asked during the competition to propose an art piece integrated into the building, and I decided to give to the artist my facade. And I told Felice, my facade will be very simple because it's just a block, a parallelepiped. You can do whatever you want. You can transform it by the perception. And he said, don't give me order because I'm an artist. Okay. I didn't give you order. So he decided to come back and told me that architecture is arrogant because our architecture, when arrive on a site, erases the landscape which is existing. So he will erase the architecture by the landscape. So taking photos on a point of view, on a point above the building, taking photos in the 4 directions, and reapplying the landscape on the facade. And so this is this facade, which is, you see there is a bridge on the back side, and you see the bridge on the building also. And all the facades are like that. And I thank him, as I said, thank you, Felice, because for once art will be helpful, because thanks to the transformation of the gray into the glass, it will filtrate the light and it will be good for the building. So when you go close to buy, you discover that there is a glass under the cantilever, and if you go closer, you discover that you look through the building from below, and you can discover the offices building from below. And inside, the 3 pylons are used by staircases or lifts to travel into the building, and having all the spaces around are open spaces for offices, like that. And I design, because when you do a glass box, and I wanted, there is nothing to take the heat, it's a glass box, and we are along the river, so there is no protection, no shadow, except the facade, but okay, the glass, the image of Felice. So when you go back one, okay. So when you have the offices, they are directly close to the facade, and I took off the full ceiling. I kept the full floor to have the heating inside, but I took off the full ceiling to have the possibility for the heat in the day to go back into the concrete block slab. And because when I was facing that, I said, okay, I discovered after that I have to have lighting and acoustic panels, because we are in an office building. So I designed an object that I sent the drawing to Luce Plan, with who I was working for during the macro, and to do a prototype and to experiment what it is, if it works. And as soon as they did a prototype, they discovered that this lamp is working very well for acoustic, because it's absorbed from below and above, and at the same time it's lighting. So you can have them suspended above the desk, and you have the sound which is absorbed, creating an atmosphere, and also the light. I did the first acoustic lighting. So, and now they are developing a lot, but I did the first one. Just because I need it. So this is Pétale by Luce Plan. In Paris, there was this long building of 600 meters long for factories, for workshops, for whatever, in the north of Paris. And the city bought it in 2009, something like that. And they decided to cut it in different pieces. No, first to do a competition for what to do with that. Remkoulas won the competition and decided to create 2 floors below, and it was a very huge building of concrete with trucks, etc. inside, so it's very solid. And discovering that the solidity of the building is enough to build 6 floors above, so to create like a little area with housing. All the yellow part are housing. The dark blue is offices. The blue light is mine. It's for a building for startup from the city. And the end has been demolished, and they did a competition for school and sport facilities for the area. And they cut the building in the center to let the tramway passing through. So it's a huge program that they did during the 2010 to now. And I have the last one. So Remkoulas gave us a regulation, crystal for the bottom part, mineral because it was a concrete facade that was remaining, step back 2 meters and stay crystal, transparent, and then above mineral. So I don't know why. It is a regulation that he gave. So I kept the facade, step back, and above mineral, what it is. So I decided, because it's startup for the multimedia, so people who are creative, crazy, whatever. So I decided to do a not usual facade as offices, but to create bubbles. And the bubbles were different, overpassing the floors, etc., creating that. And the client, who is a company from the city, had a lot of problems agreeing for doing that, and I have to make people from the city to interfere to say, okay, it works, and we did a lot of studies to show that, to demonstrate that my round windows were providing the same light than normal windows, and it was really a long problem, a long discussion of 1 year. And on the south facade, I decided to have them white, because my engineer said you have to be sustainable, etc. So white. On the back facade, on the north facade, black. And in between, because I had the facade on the east, black and white. So it's like pop art, it's like optical art. So I decided as soon as we have that, black and white, everything in the building will be black or white, nothing else, except the meeting rooms will be bubbles suspending everywhere. So the meeting room is at the entrance, we have black and white. The meeting room is red as a bubble. When you go after the door, there is another bubble going up. Inside the bubbles, you go by sometimes a passerelle. Inside the bubbles, we designed a table which is not a kind of with the hands like that, because people can sit there all together, or 2 by 3 by 4, or sitting on the floor, where we asked to have a specific carpet also with part of bubbles. It's like being in a grot for a meeting. When you go on every floor, at each floor, you have the arrival of the lift black or white, and inside they are black or white. You never know which one is coming. At every floor also we have this little space with seats and front cabin, etc., to sit and to work by seats, only on your seat. And in the room on the top the offices are overlooking Paris, which is quite nice. And toilets. As everything is black and white, I decided that in toilets they will have colors. So every floor has a specific color in the toilets. So you know that you are at this floor because you know the color of your floor, only, when you go to toilets. I know that they renovated the toilets and they asked me the real RAL colors, and I gave them, so I hope that they did the right one. In Barcelona, they were under the arrow, they were an old structure of concrete built in the 80s, and at the economic crisis at the end of the 80s, it has been stopped. So it was remaining there for 15 years. And in 2025, an investor from US and Luxembourg, fund, decided to buy it and to build a tower, reusing the structure, the concrete skeleton structure, and to go until 100 meters, which is the height of the other building. So we had to demolish another part of the building behind, because we couldn't add any surfaces that was not there. So by demolishing the volume on the backside, we can add on the top of the building existing, which was not so high, the quantity of floors to reach 100 meters high. So the first work was to do a structural work, because this tower was done for these floors, this height, this weight, but we had to add a lot. So by doing it, we have to reinforce the sub-construction, the pillars below, but the pillars were passing through a car park of the hotel nearby, so we couldn't add any pillars. So we had to do micro-piles into the pillars. And we started by building micro-piles into the pillar to reinforce the structure, to build the new floors, to add the new floors. And we discovered in the regulation that we can have more space at every floor. So we decided to enlarge the floors by creating balconies and terraces. So at the end, and now it's that. So and we demolished the 2 first floors because they were low. And we decided to have a high lobby of 10 meters high, and after that to have all the floors, and to have a rooftop. I will travel now there. So, the square, the floor, the building itself was not really nice. So I decided to create something else by creating ondulation, totally irregular, to create the antithesis. I like the antithesis to have a transformation of the facade, to have the perception of being higher. So it was a real, so every floor is different, and every floor has a different line for the balconies. When you go there, there is a high ceiling lobby on the ground floor. You remember maybe the light thing that I show you in the macro, which was a javelot on the terrace on the macro. So I propose to have 25 javelots suspended into the lobby, to have a big chandelier, and to have the ceiling covered with mirror. So you have not only 10 meters, but you have the perception, the feeling that you have 20 meters high ceiling lobby. And the other part is some seats and a wall, a green wall, and the basement. And in the basement, there is a huge services of spa, 1,000 square meters, all covered in wood, with a gym, with a yoga room, like a cocoon that is going to the garden above, to have to provide the natural light into the yoga room. At the end of that, part, I have a swimming pool, and the swimming pool is under the car park ramp. So when you are at this part, we have a normal height, but when you go to the end, you have only 150 meter at the end. And I covered the under ramp by mirror. So when you swim into the swimming pool, you are swimming by reflecting yourself above. I never swimmed inside. Yes? I have to go there to swim inside. To try. I know some people of my office tried, but I didn't try myself. I have to go to Barcelona next, and I will go there. So, and as I said, and on the top of the 100 meters high, there is another swimming pool. You arrive at the 27th floor, and you arrive at the level of a swimming pool in connection to the sea. Because we are close to the sea, because we are down of diagonal at number 0 of diagonal. And the swimming pool is turning around the rooftop. It's a nice rooftop. Yeah, I know. Very high class, very expensive too. This is only for residency, excuse me. You have to buy the flat to use it. It's too expensive. And inside, we did duplexes. So in that building, I designed everything. My client was asking me to do the volume at the beginning. I want the global design of the tower. By step, I did everything. My first idea was to design the interior, to do the interior plan. And for 6 months, I negotiated with people in charge of the marketing of the tower to have the plans of the flats as I wanted. That means having on the back side of the flats, the kitchen and the bathroom, and having only open spaces on the facade. And to have the possibility to have the continuity with the balcony, to be, because you are living on close to the sea, to are living in your flat as you are in holidays. And I wanted to have that, but it was a fight. Then they wanted and they wanted to ask an interior designer to do it. And they hired an interior designer from London, but I was on the side manipulating the interior designer to do as I wanted. After that, we had because they were providing or proposing interior design where you were living in the center of London. And I was thinking that you have to be an holiday, so you have to do that differently, to propose furniture and etc. So I designed the kitchen islands, I designed the bathtub, I designed everything. And then we have as I said, the basement. And the basement is for and they wanted to hire somebody. So I said to my office once, as soon as I heard that, we have to do the project all. So we designed everything, the lobby, the basement, the garden, a dossier like that. And once I came to the meeting in Barcelona, I said, this is the project. So they took the booklet. They said, we have to think, because we wanted to hire different person. And after 2-3 weeks, they said, okay, we give you the commission of everything. So finally, I did everything in that tower. So which is quite unusual. But I had the chance to have a very nice client, a French guy, who was living in Geneva, directing the fund of Luxembourg. But the people from New York, they were like that. We never do that. I said, no, but we can do it. So, and I did it. So that means that everything that you see is done by me. So we continue. I designed the stairs in the duplexes, all the objects. So this is some part of design. Signage, door handle, bathtub, the kitchen island, the design of the corridor, the steps for the staircase in the duplexes, and everything, step by step. So it's not usual to do that, but you have to fight. At the beginning, you know, I don't know if you are all architects, but you have to take risk. If you want to do something, you have to take risk. So I took the risk to design everything in my office, to bring that to the client, because he could have told me, no, never. But finally he said yes, because he understood that it was in coherence with the global design. And also, yes, they wanted to have a restaurant on the ground floor. So I said, I do the restaurant. They said, no, but we have to hire a chef, and maybe he wants. So we visited different chefs in Barcelona, and then we chose one chef. So it was fantastic, because when I was going there for the meetings, I arrived the day before, having dinner with my client, and we were testing all the chefs in Barcelona. And there is very good food in Barcelona. And we chose a French guy who was a 1-star Michelin, and he wanted to do a brasserie there. I said, but I do the design. So I designed everything again. I designed the chairs, I designed the step. We chose together the plates, the glasses, everything. And the ceiling is in continuity with the ground floor, the lobby. So it's with a mirror also. And I designed a chandelier, which is very strange. It's like a mirror in 3D, in a way, with different objects suspended, and we did that with a factory in the south of Spain. But what I did with that, because I said to my client, if I work like that, as I did for the macro in Rome, working with the people in Italy, with the factory in Italy, I want to do that with the artisan in Barcelona. And I discovered that around Barcelona, there are a lot of nice companies, as it was in Italy before. Because now they've been all sold back business. Now they are still remaining in Spain. And it's true, yes. In Italy, they have been all sold to guys. And now, you don't have not enough now artisans and workers that can work in the valley in the little valleys coming from the Po. But okay, in Barcelona, they are still existing, and I discover a lot. So thanks to a lady who helped me, and we discovered all of that. So we went there, we visited them, we discussed with them, and we worked with them. And everything has been done by little artisans from. So this is the toilet of the restaurant. A glass, a wash basin which is particular. You put your hand into the lips. Okay. So, and this is, sometimes I do small. This is, what can I say? My head is not working tonight. This is artist residency for art collector. The art collector is living in the little castle above Grenoble, with a slope going down into the Gulf of Grenoble. So, and she wanted to have an artist residency for having some artists to work for them, for her, and giving them a space. So, and the site was in the bottom part of our castle, and I went there, and I discovered that it was into a wood, but you couldn't see the Alps around, and you couldn't see because of the trees, and you couldn't see the valley, the city that is seen from above. So I decided to create a kind of a belvedere, to create a black box in wood. It's the only time that I built only in wood. It's totally in wood, because I'm in the wood, and so this is a black cube that she can see from a place, but they can't see her from the place, from the artist's place. And this cube has been twisted to come down, to catch the light and the sun on different directions, coming down, and to have the workshop on the bottom part, which is an open space inside, and they work there. And inside there is a stair with a little living room, a little bedroom, and at the top part is a belvedere overlooking the Alps and the city of Grenoble. So, and, oh, okay, it's going fast. Okay, yes, I didn't. Okay, so an Englishman, a man from London, who is working with glass and steel, had a disease with his eyes. He has a macula, so his eyes, so his view is disappearing step by step. So he wanted to build a house close to the sea in France, and I had to find for him a place. So thanks to a friend, I discovered a little city in Brittany, close on the sea, where there were at this time no regulation for architecture. You could do whatever you want, which is quite rare. And but he wanted to build it glass. He wanted to build a glass house. So I proposed him a land, and we designed a parallelepiped, inclined, built in glass, a white glass, which is a double glass, where the inner space is not air. It's a particular material which is isolating, with a second double glass in between a space. So this is 15 centimeters, with two double glass and with a void in between. So it's totally isolated. But at the same time, it's a white, totally white lighting inside. So it's inclined, and it's perforated by two black volumes in glass for the kitchen and the bathrooms. And inside, everything is white. So wherever you are into the building, the light is always the same. It's like living in a cocoon. You have the impression to be outside of the world. When you go out, you discover that there is a different light, that you are outside. At the beginning, you are a bit perturbed by the oblique, but finally it works. So the man left his house, transferred it to his nephew. The nephew died, to another nephew, and they wanted to live there. But finally, I heard last year that they stopped and they sold it to a local guy who wanted to do an Airbnb inside. So if you go to Carantec, maybe you can rent that place as Airbnb. I don't know. I never tried. Since last year, I heard that. And in the same city, close to the sea, they sent a couple sent me an email and sent me the photo of a site, which is that site in between two beaches. And they wanted to build a house there. So I said, oh yes, I come to visit the site because it's interesting. So the site is a part of a site which was belonging to the house on the top. But the house of the top sold the end of the site. And what you see at the end, very end, it's a fake forta. It's a fake thing. It has been built 50 years ago. It's nothing. But we have to keep it because now it's protected. It's ugly, but it's protected. So we decided to build in between. Not to be demolished. Everything that is there, you can't demolish because you're on the coast. So it's ugly, but you have to keep it. So we first renovated that, and then we built a house in between. And I proposed them to do, because they are in a fantastic site with a view of 300 degrees on the sea and between two beaches. And to do a glass house again, but protected by the stone roof. Why a stone? Because I am attached to a wall which is in between the property above and their property. And I have to keep the line of the wall to not erase the view for the people above to the sea. So I had to go to the terrace of the people above to check what is the line from their terrace to the sea, that to not overpass the height of the wall. So by building, keeping the wall and returning the stone on the roof, this is the continuity, and they don't see anything from the house. So we do it. So in the center of the house, I have a little patio, because I was thinking it could be protected from the wind, but there are more wind there. So this is stone wall, stone roof, and underneath, this is total glass. And inside, seen even from out on the back side of the little courtyard, you have overlooking to the sea. So this is 170 square meters. They have kids, but they don't want their kids to live there. So they have a house in another street above, not overlooking the sea. So they said to the kid, you live there, and we stay there. And the friends are going to the Forta, to the fake building. So they are living there alone. And now they are living, before it was for holidays, now it's a permanent house. And I propose them to have, because we have to dig the floor, and we have 2 floors, 2 different heights, to design a sofa, a canapé, a sofa, with different position, lying, staying, standing, to turn around the patio, and on the top part, this is a desk where they work and they can have their computer. I didn't design anything for the furniture. They did everything. So it's just a stone roof above a glass facade. So once, in 2003, I received a call from a man who had a client who wanted to build a boat, a sailing boat. And it was in 2003, and he was reading an article, an interview by me, in Yodona, that I gave to a journalist. And the journalist asked me, what is for you the difference between Paris and Rome? And I said, this is very different. When I am in Paris, if you go to Paris, you have to take the map to check where is the River Seine, to understand the boulevard by Haussmann, and you follow the map. It's very easy to understand where you have to go. If you go to Rome, you buy the map, forget. You don't know, you don't understand how to go there, how to travel. So you have to travel the city, which is interesting, it's very different. You have to travel the city. And you travel the city as you were on a boat, by navigating, by sailing. And I was explaining this is depending on the moment of the day. If it's in the evening, when you go, you understand where are the little squares, and you travel, you navigate between the squares. So they read that, and they said, oh, this architect, she knows something about sailing. And they called me. So finally, I met them in Rome, in a restaurant, and we discussed for 3 hours about colors, about whiskey, about chocolate, about everything. And he showed me the little booklets boats that he wanted to build, with Wally. I know that you know Wally because it's not far from here. It's in Monaco. And the boat is not far from here. It's in one of the harbors there. So, and finally we did it. The first only question that he asked me is, what will be the color of the boat? And I said black. And he said, okay. So that's it. And then we for 3 years, we did the boat. It was been built in Fano. And I was traveling every month to Fano, going there for looking at the construction of the boat, bringing my drawings of the interior, of the deck, of the windows, because I redesigned many things. And they were doing the mock-up of the interior. And depending on the mock-up and depending on the drawing, we learn between each other a lot, between the people of the shipyard and myself. And I enjoy to do that. So the boat is totally flush deck. And we design the floor, the deck, by developing the surface of the deck, by bringing a model, because at this time we didn't have model by computer, we had model by hand. I brought a model. You have to go fast. And everything is anchored into the deck. The windows. I didn't want to have the usual windows because they are with big frames that I find ugly. So I decided to insert sheets of glass black into the wood of the deck on both sides to provide the light, natural light on both sides and underneath in the cabins, and to provide in the evening the light from the same place on the deck. And inside, again, I designed everything. I started to design everything in that boat. The steps, the bar, which is cutting in two, to have the partition which are sliding to change the space from the kitchen to the salon, to the deck. And into the master bedroom, which is a big partition on the back side, because there is a bathroom on the back. And inside this part of the partition, there is a sliding partition that can be inside or sliding out. And the bathroom behind is quite narrow. At this size, it's not narrow in the boat, but it's narrow. It's covered, the back side, the back wall is covered by mirror. And there is a basin that is double in the mirror too. And okay, now furniture. I did my first furniture when I did furniture for the UNESCO headquarters in Paris in 2000. And it was a long desk for the company. So it has been built in plastic because the UNESCO headquarters, you are looking at your watch. Maybe it's too long, no? They don't leave, they stay. Okay. And so this is the UNESCO headquarters, the conference hall. So this is a long desk in plastic that I did with a little shipyard close to Paris. And the colors have been decided thanks to a color in a fresco by Picasso, because this, if I have to tell you the story of the UNESCO headquarters, this is a building built in the 50s by Marcel Breuer and Pierre-Luigi Nervi. And this it's a really, really a nice building, a fantastic building. And it has been built in concrete. The concrete has been done with sensuality. If you go in this hall, the pillars, which are 15 meters high, start sometimes round, becoming ovoid and finishing rectangle. The second one, all of the pillars are different, and they have been built in concrete with a little part of wood, that you see still. You still see the coffrage, what I know the name in English. Maybe they know in Italian. Okay, and this is absolutely fantastic. So you have to go to visit the UNESCO headquarters when you go there. So we decided to choose the color in the fresco by Picasso because all the main artists of the time have been asked to do a piece in that building. So in the hall, there is a fresco by Picasso, a tapestry by Le Corbusier, and a mosaic by Tapies. So this is coming from the fresco by Picasso. Then they asked for furniture, and I asked if I can design them. They said, you do as you want. So I decided for the first time of my life to design a seat. I dare to do that because it's not easy when you're an architect, because it's not the same scale. So first I did that with models. It was 2000, with not 3D at this time. So it was done by model, by drawing, etc. So I have a collection of models of this seats. And at the end came a prototype. And the prototype, I look at it and I say, oh, it's very small, because it was smaller than me. Usually when I was designing, it was buildings. So it was a little object. And I said, I sit, it was comfortable, but I said, maybe it's too small. So I gave other dimension, and they built a new prototype, and it was absolutely not comfortable. So we did right at the first time. So we did that. And because they wanted, and I wanted to renew with a snake done by Paulin, which is, I don't remember the name of this sofa, which was snaking into the main halls long time ago in the 70s and 80s in the banks, in museums, etc. So I decided that, but I wanted to do a seat, so I did the snake with different objects. So for the first one is a normal seat with a seat and a back. The masterpiece is Confident, which is a double seat, and there is at the end a kind of a sofa with the back side which is coming back connected to the seat. And we choose the color of the leather in the tapestry by Le Corbusier. And you can connect them because all the sections are the same, all the sides are the same. And you can make snaking the seats into the hall. They wanted to have a table, so I did a table again with the same plastic factory, with little legs, etc. A paper box with folding aluminium polished in a certain way to blur the limit of the folds, and the ashtray that is now disappearing. Because at this time we could have ashtray again, still again. And, okay. And recently with another company with who I did the seats, we decided to change the format of the table, to have a mirror stainless steel underneath, and to transform the paper basket in a stool. With Suche Plan, I did another lamp, which is Soleil Noir. They asked me to have a pendant lamp. And usually the pendant lamps are big, and when you look underneath, you have the light into your eyes. So I wanted to have indirect light to be more comfortable. So I designed this shape. And underneath, there is this circle, which is supporting the light. And thanks to the reflecting of the undersurface of the shape, it transfers the light underneath indirectly. So it's a pendant lamp which is underneath. So this is why I call it the Soleil Noir, because of the song of Charles Trenet, who did that when the sun has a meeting with the moon, this is that. Okay, and then, okay, in Seoul, in Korea, there was a biennale, and they asked 15 designers to do a lamp, and I proposed that lamp, which is a stone, with a stainless steel above and a light underneath. And a knife, because one of my friends, a designer, was the art director of a company of knives, and he called me once and he said, Odile, do you want to design a knife? I said, why not? What kind of knife? He said, a folding knife. And I said, oh, I like folding knives, because if you look at folding knives, all the men before had folding knife in their pocket, because this is very usual, very useful every time. But you can't travel with, so I don't have enough. I don't have now a folding knife in my bag. But okay, but he said that the blade has to be the same, because this is a brand, the blade, the brand form of the blade. But I have to do a knife. But how to do a knife of this little object when you are an architect building big objects? So I did not know how to design a knife. So I decided to take pasta, and I molded the pasta in my hand. We did a model of the blade, I modeled the pasta in my hand until it was comfortable for my hand. And then I passed the knife, the model, to every people in my office to check if it was comfortable for everybody. So we did some adjustment, and I brought to my friend, the art director, the model. I said, "You did the model for a knife?" I said, "I don't know how to design a knife." So, and they did it. And now the knife is called Le Noir by Odile Decq. I asked for the blade to be black, and it's black. Okay, normal. And then, the Victor house. Victor is a dog who was belonging to the art gallery close to my office in Paris. And he asked me to renovate the gallery. And he has a dog. So I renovated the gallery, and he has a dog. So he wanted to go back to the new gallery with the basket of the dog. And if you go to any store for dogs, baskets for dogs are ugly. So I said, no way to bring your basket into the gallery. So I will design the house for Victor. So I came to visit Victor, and we took the measurement of Victor when he was standing, lying. And we did that in aluminum, molded aluminum. And we asked a lady in the area to sew the mattress. And Victor has been very happy in there for many years, and now he died. But he kept the dog basket. And with the gallery, we discussed a lot about this dog basket. And I said it could be done from mice to human. So in 2013, he asked me to do it for mice. So I did that for mice, the same. So if you have mice in your house, you can provide them a house. Thank you.
Je voudrais remercier vraiment Odile Decq pour sa relation. C'est vraiment important avoir vous ici.
Merci.
Non so
Merci a vous.
Non so se ci sono domande o se no ci congediamo. Sono domande? No? Any questions?
There is one on the backside.
Je vais avec le microphone.
Ok.
Riesci a farla in inglese? Vieni là allora, vieni.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Ivan, I'm Roman, so thank you for the macro that
you are from Roma.
always
Okay.
stay there, and very, very nice.
Thank you.
I would like to know if is there any relationship between the colors and the shapes that you create, because I saw that in the auditorium, it's very strong, the shapes that you create in the center, in the middle. But then I saw in Lyon that you colors the ceiling of the entrance of this building. So that one was very flat, and the other one was very sculptured. So I was asking if you use the colors in...
In relation to a shape? No. When I feel that it could be red, I do it red. It's really... When I do architecture, it's really intuitive. I don't decide. I don't have theory. I don't have doctrine. I do as I feel all the time.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your coming. Thank you again, Odile. Bene, ci vediamo con queste conferenze prossimamente, e comunque la Genova Design Week continua, quindi adesso per le strade stasera ci sono moltissime iniziative, e anche ancora domani. Se non avete visto Container vi invito ad andare al Porto Antico a vedere l'installazione Container 03, sempre ad opera di Genova Design Week, e vi ringrazio ancora per essere stati qua con noi. Buona serata a tutti.